The latest episode of The Mandalorian confirmed that in some ways the Darksaber does in fact work like the Elder Wand, but while I didn't think it would work that way, I do think there are some specific elements that still highlight that at its core, the Darksaber normally wouldn't, and that ownership of the Darksaber is above all else a social and political construct. While Din was able to surrender the Darksaber to Bo-Katan without a fight because of it being taken from him under Mandalore, there are a lot of circumstances that have to come together for that to be acceptable. The most important, which is what I was kind of leaving out when thinking this wouldn't have transferred ownership to Bo-Katan before, is that Din was looking to give it to her anyways. I still think if Bo-Katan had tried to argue it without his cooperation while it was still in his possession, she would have been laughed out of town. Similarly, had someone else challenged Din for it and won in the time between Mandalore and fighting Axe Woves, Din and Bo-Katan would probably have a much harder time arguing that it should actually have been Bo-Katan's. And if Axe Woves had won against Bo-Katan, Din probably wouldn't have filled everyone in on the Darksaber actually skipping to rightful owners and just handed it over to him or something. This was a pretty unique situation where Din had it, wanted Bo-Katan to have it instead, and had an acceptable enough narrative for handing it over. So it's still not really the Elder Wand. After all, Din got it from Moff Gideon, who got it from Bo-Katan, who technically didn't win it in combat anyways. Otherwise, Sabine could still just walk in and say, hey, that's mine, but at this point I don't think that's a thing anyone would accept either. Or maybe if you think they would, let me know in the comments.